Booyakasha, Mr. Travis Pavlik. Here we go. I got my dual monitor set up back. I actually like the simplicity of one monitor. However, I have two. Might as well use the real estate. Let's get into Mr. Bitcoin. Here we go. We see a lot of freaking red over here. Just real quick, Bitcoin's doing finally what we want her to do. Finally. It's been quite some time. We're looking at the daily chart. Here we go. In hindsight, this is kind of a double tap. This was a kind of scare overnight. I'm not saying we're completely out of the woods yet, but generally what happened was fear and greed index was at lows, meaning like 18 reading or something like that. If you type that in, you'll see that. Bitcoin itself, it looked like maybe wanted to go to 85. A lot of people saw there's a gap there on regular CME futures. GBTC, because of kind of weekends, no weekends, looked a little bit better, and we're gonna resolve much higher, in my opinion. We already have the weekly engulfing in GBTC. Look at that. Ooh, big. That is big. Let's go back to this chart. Now, the first thing, if this is indeed coming out of it, remember how you felt in this region. And I remember personally how I felt. It was just fake out, drifting, and it just wouldn't go lower. I'm scared. I'm thinking like, oh, I'm going to get stopped out of this position. Just wouldn't go lower. So that was kind of the impetus for, I think the lows are in and we're all good, so we're going to go higher. Now, keep in mind, this is only Bitcoin, and in the actual chart, it's still 3 inside weeks so far. So above 10,690 on Bitfinex, and then previous week, so 2 weeks ago was 1198, $11,098. And again, 9,084 is the low. So, and 93.76 so far. So, the way I want to trade this, again, you can add more above this daily candle right here. And then instead of risking all the way down the lows, just risk to here. Below 95.75. And then you can play for a move all the way up to maybe 11.8, 11.9 on Bitfinex, and that is, we're almost to the 382, which is 10.86, 10.8650, 10.865, $10,865, $11,965.8. Again, these are just regions. I don't think that it's going to ticket. And then that's the whole range. And then if we look at the smaller range, 11.6, 10.64. So these are just areas. It's not going to go probably straight up. There's probably going to be a little bit of some volatility. Although this is looking a lot like a 1 up, a 2 down. Remember how I got super bullish right here, and that's where I added to my position, right? So I think I got in some here, then I added some here, then I add some here. So it's all in this region is where my cost is. Kind of sat on my hands. and waited for it to play out. Took me a lot to not get too antsy and sell some in here. But now we're looking to add as this trend develops, and I believe it's going to be actually a strong trend. There's a lot of people that are still caught off sides, meaning they were expecting lower and they're going to wake up and see Bitcoin higher. Maybe not today. Oh, it's going to get faded. It's going to get faded. And then the next day, another green candle looking ever so beautiful. And then they're like, oh, wait, maybe I should get some. And then the next day, another green candle, and like, ah, shit, and they FOMO buy. So that's kind of what I'm expecting right now. I'm expecting a strong trend. Kind of targets are these Fibonacci's as well as, what 11,100 is the last time we have some kind of horizontal resistance, possible resistance, if my French is correct. So this is just an update, but I'm focused on a leverage trade and to take some money out of it. But really, I think you can just sit on your hands and not do too much. Bitcoin just corrected, 30%. So I would just not do anything for a while. If indeed this trend continues up on a weekly basis above the previous highs. Yeah, we're not too far off. 10,690. So anyways, this is a quick update. I'm not going to edit this. This is just going to come straight raw to you. And also take note, it's just Bitcoin. Monero's doing okay. EOS, not so much. Let's see, where's where's my Litecoin? Litecoin, it's not looking as beautiful. So likely, if this trend does continue, everything is going to rally. It's all correlated, unfortunately or fortunately. But Bitcoin itself, if we can look at the BTC.D, the Bitcoin domination. So wicking, you could basically almost trade this. It follows patterns as well, but up to nearly 70 from the low of 50. This is just market cap of Bitcoin versus basically all the others. 36, way back to 36 to 70. Huh. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. We have a hopefully new trend. It's taken quite some time to play out. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, should I update the people? Should I not? If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter. Twitter is @tpavlik, or send a message somehow. Otherwise, I do want to cover the main markets. SPX has been absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous sitting this out, this dump. Just, it took weeks to get to new all-time highs, and then to kind of go higher, and then boom, we're dumping back. I don't have any interest in this market right here. August 7th, I believe, is earnings for Avid. There's a lot of fuckery in the meantime. Look, they took it up all the way to almost $11 on a fake out breakout and then dumped it back down to 10. But they're reporting earnings August 7th. I will assess it then. It's not as, it doesn't really have liquid options, so I can't really expect to play it through earnings. Maybe a small position. I do like it long, but I'd like to see you know, I'd obviously like to see it even cheaper and buy it for another dip. But I want to keep in mind that something like this can happen as well. You know, you can be looking at something at $2 and $3 and expecting it and wanting it to go to $1.50, and it just never does. It just rips up in your face. So we could be something like this or something like this where it just gaps up and then takes off to the moon. So I want to be a little bit dynamic there because I think this is something that's good. Also, if you're an OG subscriber, you remember my videos on Chipotle around this region saying it's going to double, go back to all-time highs. We are at all-time highs. And it's burrito-ful. Burrito-ful. It's beautiful. There is so much free guac on this trend. There's a lot of free guac on that trend. There's double meat on this trend as well. But, you know, something like this, you basically have to play it through options to make any real money versus Bitcoin. Yeah. It's kind of crazy how they're actually similar charts. But that is it. That is all I've written. If you have any questions, comment below, and hopefully this Bitcoin trend does continue on like I expect. Peace out.